My name is Kevin Burns, and for those of you, since we're starting afresh, I'm an attorney who does part of my practice is in disability rights law. I work for a firm called Fluid Hubert Hong. We are working with another firm on the case against Fairfax County to limit restraint and seclusion against disabled children, both under the Americans with Disabilities Act and under some constitutional claims. I have worked a long time with the disability community in many areas. I have a 25-year-old disabled son who has autism, who teaches me patience, tolerance, and kindness. But like many, the reason I got involved with Acceptability Bridge Corporation and decided to do this tonight was, like many young people with disabilities in their 20s and 30s, there are very limited opportunities for these people to actually work. I'm a firm believer that the Americans with Disabilities Act has it right when it talks about work bringing dignity to individuals, self-esteem, and agency. And this is critically important for disabled adults who have been grossly impacted by the pandemic, because the pandemic has hit hardest at service industries, which is where many of the disabled work. And so it's important for all of us to keep in mind that an important part of addressing the disability community is giving them the right and dignity to do productive work. That is essential, I think. When my son goes and works at a farm and labors hard, there's a different young man there than one sitting around the house worrying about how he's different from everyone else. So I'm very dedicated to the task that Accessibility Bridge Corporation is seeking to do, to provide resources and to connect the disabled with potential job opportunities. Disabled people work hard generally. They are loyal, good employees, and many employers have found that when they make reasonable accommodations to them and allow them to achieve their full potential, they become some of their best employees, which also helps the disabled because they are no longer simply sitting around the house, living off their parents or the state or whatever. They are actually doing productive work. So I'm a firm believer in that. Acceptability Bridge Corporation, as I said, for most of you who are on, provides resources for the disabled, is attempting to connect them up with potential employment, and entrepreneurship is another goal of the organization, not just to treat the disabled as sort of dependents, but to treat them as persons who can bring entrepreneurial skills to business and develop businesses on their own. And so I'm very committed to this cause, very glad to be here tonight. Now, I know the reason most of you are here is to see Vita, the vegan chef, produce her food. Unfortunately, because of the delay, she didn't start cooking, so I don't think she's too far ahead of us. So with that, I'll simply turn the matter over to her. Thank you.
All right. So good evening, everyone. I am so delighted to be here as part of this very special evening and to be part of such a special organization's gala and fundraiser. I really admire the mission of Accessibility Bridge, the mission to increase access to like all that our society has to offer for those who are differently able. So before we get going, I want to ask the viewers to please use the chat to interact with me and my very special guest, Carla, who's at my bar. So she and I are gonna have a light banter as I move through this recipe. And also I'm asking, or we're asking that viewers take photographs. So you can take photographs of yourself in the process of making the cocktail. You can take pictures of yourself sipping the cocktail. You can take pictures of the finished cocktail, try to get some nice telling photos and post them on social media. And please tag Accessibility Bridge. I know they are on Instagram and Facebook under Accessibility Bridge, and I'd love for you to tag me as well. My tag is actually my screen name, at Vita the Vegan Chef. Okay, so thank you so much for being here. So in this process, I'm gonna encourage everyone to trust themselves. When I'm doing my cooking lessons, I say, trust yourself when people start asking me a lot of questions, because you have your own taste buds, you have your own likes, your dislikes, you know what they are more than anyone else. And of course, this is not something that's etched in stone. You can improvise and take this cocktail wherever you would like. Okay, so without further ado, we're gonna make what I have called, what I'm calling the accessibility. So that's a play on the martini. And with Dee's help and with her encouragement to make this segment as accessible as possible, I came up with this recipe for a tea-based martini or tea-based cocktail. And so I wanted to name it for her wonderful organization. So in your gala box, you have a mason jar mug, you have a biodegradable straw, you have 2 lemon ginger tea bags, and I believe there are also packets of True Lemon. And of course, Dee made sure we had things in the box that would not perish on the way to you. And so I'm gonna give some guidance on when you're to use the lemon in particular and the tea bags. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna make a tea syrup, all right? And so if you notice in the recipe, it says that in a small pot, we're gonna bring a 1/2 cup of water to a boil, a rolling boil, okay, not an almost boil, but a rolling boil. And then we'll take the pot from the heat and we'll put in our tea bags, okay? Okay. So I'm gonna walk over here to my stove where I have my pot ready to go.
So when you say a rolling boil, does it mean the bubbles, you know, like bubbly, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yes, yes, yes.
Cool.
I know sometimes we be ready to have our tea, right. And it is like you got the little bitty bubbles, but we want a rolling boil.
Okay.
All right. And by the way, if you put a lid over your pot, that accelerates the water getting to the boiling.
Oh,
so
I didn't know that. That's good.
Yes.
To know. Good to know.
All right. So I'm putting my lid on. Now, that probably will only take a second to do to get boiling. But I love to multitask. So I'm going to go ahead and like cut my lemons in half. Now you want to make sure if you're going to be working with fresh lemons and you want to do zesting, you want to like wash your lemon and dry it. And I've already done this, okay? And I'm just doing some multitasking while the water is coming to a boil. Mm-hmm. All right. And I'm gonna go ahead while that's doing that, and I'm gonna juice.
So if they want to zest, do you zest before you cut the lemons, Lavita?
Oftentimes I do it before I cut the lemon, and okay. Sometimes I do it afterwards because I feel like I have some kind of a hole, place to put my fingers.
That's how I feel
when I cut it in.
Like you can hold it more than I feel that sometimes too.
Yes,
that's why I asked.
So it's kind of a preference thing.
Yes.
And I may or may not follow these directions exactly, but you have the recipe for when you want to do it again, and you can kind of, you can figure out what technique works for you. But in the time that it's taken this water to come to a boil, I've already juiced my 2 lemons, and the water is at a rolling boil.
Cool.
All right. So with this, we want to put our 2 tea bags in this water. Okay. So let me try to follow my own directions. Okay, so the rolling boil has happened, and it says remove the pot from the heat and add the tea bags. Okay, so I'm going to turn off the stove, and I'm just going to drop these tea bags in there.
All right. I see the steam coming out.
Yes, and it's beautiful. Well, anyway, you see the steam at least.
Right.
And put your lid back over it. This helps the steeping of the tea bag. Okay. All right. Okay. And we really don't have to take a long time. with letting this tea bag steep. We're gonna give it, let's give it 4 minutes, okay? So we got 4 minutes for the tea bag to steep. And after it's steeped, we're gonna boil the water some more and put our sugar in it. And from that comes our simple syrup or our tea syrup. And if you drink or you make cocktails, you know that simple syrup is very key to delicious cocktails. So in the meantime, I have my fresh lemon juice, which I'm gonna sit aside, and I'm gonna go ahead and zest my lemons. And I wanna put my zest, so I'm very proud of these, by the way. My bamboo, my bamboo containers for my rimming. We call that rimming when you put the sugar around the glass. Some of you may not be interested in putting a sugar rim on your glass, so that's totally fine. You could skip this step, but I want to make a very special accessibility, and I want to put a sugar rim. And what I'm going to do is go ahead and pour this sugar. Oh, this is my sugar. I'm sorry. This is my sugar for the simple syrup. But I'm going to go put 2 more tablespoons of sugar inside of this.
You know, sometimes, Levita, some people use savory, like some cayenne pepper on their drinks. And sometimes people use salt, you know, when I was thinking martini, right?
Yes.
So, you know, they can probably use both, like salt or kind of, you know, I like drinking martini, so I'm just giving some little.
Yes.
Little hacks. Yeah, the kind of, because we like spicy.
Yes.
That would be kind of different.
I think that would be so nice.
You're right.
Maybe we can try that.
Yes.
After this is over.
Right.
So I'm going to, according to my stove, I still have 2 minutes, and I think that's plenty of time to get the zest off of the lemon peel.
Yeah.
And again, this is for those of us who want to do something special on the rim. And I'm a huge fan of fresh lemon juice and fresh zest.
I like the way you put the zest in the sugar. I like that.
Yeah, I'm putting my fingers in here because, you know, you can cut your fingers on a zester.
Yes,
but if you
I
have
like that.
If you have this lemon peel to fold your fingers into, it's great.
Oh, cool. I like that.
And oftentimes when I'm doing my vegan cooking lessons, I think people are fascinated with how dynamic fresh lemon juice and zest will make their dishes.
Yes.
So when I make fruit crumbles, for example,
yes,
I made an apple crumble for my Thanksgiving series, and we put like juice of 1 whole lemon, and we put zest of 1 whole lemon in the pie, and everyone agreed that it did something special for the pie. So,
or sometimes you cut up the fresh fruit and you just put zest of lemon. It tastes so good. When you make fresh, your vegan kimchi is so good too.
Yes, yeah, that is. Thank you for mentioning that because yes, it's a simple way to bring your fruit alive. So sometimes, like for brunch, I might just slice an apple and put lemon juice with zest in it. It coat the apples with that, and it takes the apples to a whole other level.
Yes,
so or you could do it with lime juice and zest.
Nice.
Okay, so I have my lemon juice and zest. By the time this the steeping of the tea bags have happened, and I have my rimming sugar as well. And I'm mixing, oh my goodness, the sugar with the lemon zest. And this around the rim of the glass is going to make this cocktail so special. All right, and that's my cue. My tea bags have steeped. Now, I want to take these tea bags out of the water because I don't want the tea bags soaking up the sugar and the syrup. So that's why the next instruction is to, you know, pull your tea bag above the water level and press out all the liquid, and then sit your tea bags aside. Don't throw them out. Keep them and set them aside because we can use the tea bags in the rimming of the glass.
Oh,
We can
nice.
use the moisture of the tea bag to get moisture on the rim of the glass.
More of a tea taste, right?
Yeah.
I like that. Like that.
Yes, and then you'll taste the flavor of your tea bag in multiple ways when you're drinking your cocktail. All right. So, according to the directions, once we press the water out of the tea bag or the tea out of the tea bag, we want to boil the water again. Or now we're boiling tea, and we're going to put the sugar in that tea, and that's where our tea syrup is coming from.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
And yeah, so this shouldn't take but a moment.
Yeah, because with simple syrup, sometimes you add like rosemary to it and different flavors to give it a little punch to it, right?
Yes.
I remember you did it one time when you made it. You put one of your herbs in it, so it gives a nice little taste.
Mm-hmm. And so what Carla's mentioning is like all, she's bringing up different things that she's tried because she's always over here.
That's
she's
right.
the unofficial taste tester.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Who always happens to just be in the neighborhood, as soon as something is cooked, just finished cooking.
Delicious.
Yeah, so I when I say trust yourself, you should imagine, what all could I put in this syrup? Mm-hmm. And so she was bringing up fresh herbs. Like I have a huge rosemary bush in the front of my house, and I use it in lemonades and sauces, and it can be in savory and sweet dishes. Yes. And I love what she was saying about the pepper, mixing cayenne into this into the sugar, or if you want a salt rim, I'm gonna have to try that. And so really think about your own taste buds and how you could improvise on what I'm doing here. Okay. Carla is on mute. Does she hear? I want to be certain everyone can hear me. Okay. Oh, I see what she's saying. Okay. Is that gonna interfere? If she needs to stay on mute. I should. Okay. All right. So the tea is boiling, and we're going to now put the sugar in.
So what type of sugar is this, Labita? Is it any sugar, or what kind of sugar you suggest?
I love cane sugar. This is cane sugar.
Okay.
And I love turbinado sugar. Turbinado, it looks like brown sugar, but it's bigger crystals.
So where can we find that? I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, you do. By the way, so I put the sugar in, and I'm just stirring. And let me see what my directions say.
Put the pot back on, so use a whisk or spoon to make sure the sugar dissolves. Remove the pot from the stove and let the simple syrup cool.
Yeah.
So how long does it have to cool?
We are, since we're in a time crunch, or we have time limits.
Yes.
We're gonna let it cool for whatever I said. I think, what did I say, 5 minutes or something? And by the way, you can turn your stove on to aid in the dissolving. All right. Okay. And you want it to look like a syrup. You don't want it to look you want it to look like syrup. Like,
so a thick consistency when you say syrup, or?
So syrup. One way is like you could take a spoon and first thing is make sure the sugar is dissolved.
Okay.
And then you can kind of look at it. But the test can be to put your spoon in there and see if it coats it.
Oh, okay.
If the liquid coats the spoon. And this does not take long at all. In general, simple syrup is same amount of water as sugar. Okay, you can also keep that in mind. We did a half a cup of water and a half a cup of sugar.
Okay.
Okay, but I'm using my whisk to aid in getting this simple syrup to dissolve. And I have my stove up high. and it's forming lots of bubbles.
It smells so good. I can smell it though.
And it's looking like syrup. It looks like syrup. I love it, love it, love it. And this is tea syrup. So think about your favorite tea. We're using lemon ginger, or that's what came in the box, the gala box. But what I love about this recipe is that you could think of any tea bag. I think just about, there are a wide range of tea bags. So see how that started to bubble?
Oh yes, it's beautiful.
And notice,
yeah,
it's coat. It coats the spoon. The spoon is shiny all the way around.
Oh, it smells nice.
Oh, I love it. Okay,
It smells.
so we basically have our tea syrup. Let's let it cool down. What did I say, Carla? In the did I say for cooling? So add and dissolve the sugar for another 3 minutes. That's what we were doing there. And so we're gonna just let the tea syrup cool down. And I jumped ahead, but that's okay. And I have in the recipe that we can juice the lemons and sit the juice aside and zest at this point. And if you need to do that, or you want to do that, you can. So we've done a bunch of steps already.
I have a question, Levita. Can they
Yes.
do it can you store it in the refrigerator?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you can do it beforehand and it could be cold in the fridge.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
And then you can take it out of the refrigerator and maybe let it get a little warmer before you actually try to use it. Not warm, but let it get uncold. But I don't think it'll be a problem. When you're making cocktails, you don't want it to be too cold. You know what I mean? You need it to.
Well, some drinks, since it's tea, if it's warm, it'd be okay with me because I love warm drinks. So that's why I was asking.
We have another unexpected guest showing up to have some cocktails. Our friend George. So what we want to do, I think we're almost at the point where we can mix the cocktail. Okay, for me, I'm gonna make my sugar rim. So while this is cooling, and I have brought my tea bag over here. And what I'm gonna do is use the tea bag to moisten the edge of my glass. And I wanna do it only on the outside and kind of in an even, you don't, when I say even, parallel to the rim, not a thick, you don't want to have sugar this wide around the rim. I tried to go close to the top and keep it even. Okay? And then remember, I made my sugar with the lemon zest. I want to keep the sugar on the outside. Notice I went on the outside with my
I noticed
tea
that.
bag.
I was going to say something because usually at the bar they do it on the top. I like that.
Yeah, because I don't want the sugar falling all down in my drink.
I like that.
So look how beautiful that is. This is a sugar with lemon zest rim.
Yummy, yummy, yummy. I can't wait.
And when you take in the zest, plus you got a little bit of flavoring of the tea bag on the rim.
Cool.
It's gonna be so amazing. Okay. I could also do this with my my leftover lemon peel. I could have gone around and added some lemoniness around the rim. But I think since we got the zest, we can do this. I'm making at least 2 because I have someone special at my bar. Okay, so we got our 2 glasses. All right. So now, let's see. We are going to mix a cocktail now, basically. We have our syrup. I think it's cooled down enough. So So in a container with a tight-fitting lid, you can add your preferred liquor. And if you notice, I gave some measurements, and those measurements are in tablespoons because not everyone has a cocktail kit. I have a jigger, so I'm going to use this for that. But it's approximately 2 tablespoons of tea syrup, 3 tablespoons of whatever liquor you want to use. I actually have dry gin. That's what I would like to use. And let's see. Or you can use sparkling water. Okay, you could use 3 tablespoons of sparkling water for the non-alcoholic version, or whatever non-alcoholic beverage you have. Okay. Then we're gonna do 1.5 tablespoons of the lemon juice. If you have, okay, that's my signal that the syrup has cooled down for several minutes. If you don't have lemon juice, this is a great place to use what Dee included in the gift box, which is she included True Lemon. All right, and which is like basically like dried sugar. Okay, I mean dried lemon. And so if you want to have 4 cocktails or 2 cocktails or however many you want to have, you might want to think about how you're going to divide up that packet or packets of true lemon to, if you want to have the lemoniness all the way across every glass that you have. Okay. So I happen to have my little bartender kit that I'm very excited about. And I'm going to do, I know these measurements off the top, I think. I'm going to do,
Okay. Let's see.
I'm going to,
The cocktail is 2 tablespoons of tea syrup.
yes. Let me get my tea syrup, which is hot, good and hot.
I'm excited because I'm about to drink. Okay.
So I've got here's my 2 tablespoons of tea syrup and
3 tablespoons of the liquor or sparkling water of choice.
all right. And then 1.5 tablespoons
of lemon juice.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So, if you don't have all of this kit business, you could take a jar that has a tight fitting lid or, with a lid and put your ice and the ingredients in there and shake it for like 30 seconds. Okay. But I happen to have this shaker, and this is nice to have. My hands are becoming really, really cold. Like I might need some gloves, and that's the benefit of a actual shaker.
Yeah, keeps it cold.
Okay, and let's see. Take this part off.
Ooh.
All right.
All right.
So here's my first
nice
glass.
Nice. Looks delicious.
All right. And I'm gonna show that to you. Look how beautiful that is.
Wow.
We got the lemon sugar rim, and then we've got this beautiful cocktail with it's made more dynamic by the lemon juice.
Thank you.
But this is lemon juice. I use lemon juice, gin, and my simple syrup.
Amazing.
Or tea syrup made with the lemon ginger tea bag.
Okay.
All right. And then I'm going to make another one.
Cool.
Going to make another one, and I'll do the same order.
Okay.
All right. So what is it? 2 tablespoons?
2 tablespoons of tea syrup.
All right. And
3 tablespoons of the liquor or sparkling water of choice.
Yes. So 3 tablespoons of your beverage or liquor, And then 1.5, right, of
Yes,
the lemon
lemon
juice.
juice. Yes.
All right.
All right.
And again, give it a shake. All right, and I'll give this to my other friend, George, who always just happens to stop by when something delicious is happening.
Right.
And I have to, okay, there you go.
Okay.
Very nice. No. Hey, wait
Oh.
on me.
Oh, sorry. We just excited. Sorry, chef. It looks so delicious. Let me take a picture of this. It's beautiful.
Yes, please don't forget to take photographs of your cocktail, of you sipping your cocktail, of you in the process of making your cocktail. Again, we've got 2 tablespoons of simple syrup, 3 tablespoons of the liquor of choice or beverage of choice, and then 1.5 tablespoons of the lemon juice. All right, and this is going to be my last one that I'm making. I forgot.
What?
I forgot to make my sugar rim, and I'm gonna go fast. Go around.
I like it. The sugar rim is gorgeous. This is a nice holiday drink too. I like the colors.
Yes.
Nice.
And since I'm not a big drinker, I don't mind the ice melting a little bit in mine. But again, beautiful rim.
Yes.
And okay.
Nice, Lydia.
Okay. Whew. All right, I'm ready. Okay, so here's to accessibility bridge and making the world more accessible for those who are differently abled.
Yes.
All right.
Cheers. Delicious. Very good. I like this. Very nice. I like the rim.
I can't drink too much. I like it.
It's nice.
Do you taste the zest?
Yes, I like the rim because I taste the sugar and the pop of the zest.
Okay. You taste the zest? What do you taste?
What do you taste, George?
The sugar on the end, and it's got a little kick to it.
Yes, that's what the lemon has, a little kick to it.
Yes.
I like it because it's different and you can already have the glasses rimmed and ready to serve if you have like a gathering or something. And this is very nice. I like
yes. And I want the audience to think about what other tea bags flavors would you use? I'd love to hear what other tea bag flavors people would be interested in using. So this was a lemon ginger tea bag. This is what was in the gala box. Did anybody happen to try a tea bag of another flavor? Or is there another flavor you envision doing when you try this recipe another time? I'd love to see some of that in the chat. And also I'd love to hear from people who made a non-alcoholic version. What was your beverage of choice? So like I have San Pellegrino here, and when I tested the recipe, I tried it with this and it worked really well. I see somebody, Julie Austin says she would use blueberry tea.
Nice.
And that sounds amazing. And Maureen Dutton says she would use Earl Grey. And actually, there are tons of videos on YouTube where there's an official martini that's made with the Earl Grey tea bag. And we are doing a spin off of that, actually.
The hibiscus tea you have would be pretty because it's red.
Yes.
And it'd be, for festive. This color and the red color give it like a festive color.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I actually thought about, Dee and I talked about using a hibiscus tea bag because of the colors for the gala. The colors are red silver, and black. And I was like, oh, you know, a hibiscus would be nice. Someone else, Maureen, is saying pear. I think that would be nice. Pear tea is amazing.
Yes, yes.
It's amazing. Nice. And even if you want to juice a pear, I made a pear cocktail before where I actually juiced the pears and it was heavenly. Somebody else is saying pomegranate for the holidays. Yes, I love that. Right. I love that suggestion as well. Let's see, some other talking things. Anybody use a okay, wait a minute. They still coming. Peach tea and Tazo's pound cake tea. Pound cake tea.
I never heard of pound cake. That's different.
Cranberry, that would be nice for the holidays.
Yes.
Yeah, so maybe, you know, with this, being introduced to this, you've got some ideas of what you might do for the holidays, what you could serve.
Yes.
What's possible to serve for your holiday gatherings. Don't forget to take photos, please, and post and tag Accessibility Bridge and tag Vita the Vegan Chef. And whatever you post, we want to see these lovely cocktails. All right. I had a wonderful time. I want to thank Dee for inviting me to be part of this very special occasion. And I'm so thrilled for her organization and all that has happened over this year for her organization. And I know great things are in store for 2021. And thank you all for joining in. And thank you to the donors. And thank you to Kevin Byrne. It's been a wonderful, wonderful time. Thank you.
I'd like to introduce Dee Sapp, who is the head of Accessibility Bridge Corporation, to talk about what they do and bringing us this lovely opportunity. And again, apologies to all for the difficulties with the Zoom and the video chat. It's always a little difficult. So with that, I'll give you Dee.
Okay, thank you, Kevin, for the wonderful introduction. I hope that everyone enjoyed our virtual happy hour with Vita the Vegan Chef. I have attended several of her virtual cooking classes, as well as the specially arranged happy hour that she crafted for our organization. She never disappoints, so take a peek at her website when you get a chance. I am going to take a moment now to show our program video, and then I will return with a few notes about our organization. So the mission of Accessibility Bridge Corporation is to encourage and empower differently able people to mobilize and empower, and to integrate into a larger society by connecting them with resources and communities that have proven to be invested and successful in their inclusion efforts. I know that's a mouthful, but what does this really mean? Can you guys hear me before I go on and I have to do it again? I'll wait for the first chat to come through. Okay, I'll keep going until somebody tells me. Okay, wonderful. So what does this mean? It means that we want people with disabilities who have goals and aspirations to have the resources that they need to get them to their desired next level of success. This could be at any level, at any age, and at any capacity. We want people with disabilities and their families to know that there are resources throughout our country that can help their loved ones reach their desired goals. And Accessibility Bridge is working very hard to pull those resources so that no matter where they live, they will always have a place to refer back to. For many people with disabilities, consistency, reliability, and accuracy is of utmost importance, and we want them to come to know us as their go-to resource for as long as they need gap-filling information. So who are our target clients? Accessibility Bridge recognizes the excellence and amazing capabilities of people with disabilities. We are also aware of their external challenges and barriers to success, which include discrimination, exclusion, isolation, and educational equity. Ambition, desire, and motivation to succeed aren't traits that are learned. They are intrinsic talents that even the most educated and affluent go without. But our clients come to us having all of those skills fearlessly intact. We seek to serve those who want more opportunities for independence, more agency over their lives, more and better employment prospects that offer livable wages and equitable opportunities for advancement. Through our programs and initiatives, we will create a pipeline to success for our clients to include both internal and external resources that are crafted with their goals and skill sets in mind. Consider it an individualized life plan that's fueled by the drive of the client. I know that this all sounds very concept-driven and may be difficult to imagine. We were very intentional about the vendors that we partnered with to fill your event boxes this evening. The granola bars, popcorn, coffee, and fire starters all came from companies across the United States who hire, train, and employ people with disabilities. I've already heard from several of you who tasted your items upon receipt about how delicious and professionally done the items are. For those of you who haven't received your boxes yet, you are in for a real treat. I'd like to share 2 more videos with you so that you can get behind the scenes feel of the motivations behind the entrepreneurship of our successful community members. You do not have the items in your box from 2 blind brothers, but if you participate in our online auction, you'll get to bid on a package that includes them from their store. So Kevin Burns, I'm delighted and honored tonight to introduce Kevin Burns, a brilliant, accomplished Washington attorney, an unforgettable friend, an advocate, and tender but fierce father. Kevin is the guy you want beside you during celebratory times like tonight, when you desperately need a bridge over troubled waters. The ultimate self-made man, Kevin overcame the mean streets of South Boston and a chaotic family life to graduate from the Catholic University of America and Columbus School of Law. Licensed to practice law in 1985, he built a career first as a judge advocate in the U.S. Navy, an assistant U.S. attorney during D.C.'s most lethal drug-plagued years, and has practiced since 2001 at large and small firms. Kevin has the reputation of quickly, aggressively, and efficiently resolving disputes with minimum conflict and good outcomes for the client and the client's financial bottom line. Kevin is currently focusing on work in both civil and disability rights. He is the lead attorney in a restraint and seclusion case against Fairfax County for a group of parents and disability rights organizations who are fighting attempts to use restraint and seclusion against children with disabilities, which disproportionately affects children of color. Yet what matters most to Kevin is his 25 years as a father to Christopher, a handsome, athletic, and kind young man who loves drawing, working on a farm, and hanging out with his dad. Christopher also is far and away Kevin's greatest, most inspirational, patience, tolerance, and love. Accessibility Bridge Corporation welcomes Kevin Burns to share his extraordinary and poignant story of being Chris's dad.
Thank you. Thank you for that introduction. I'm not sure I deserved all those accolades, but I appreciate the one I think I do deserve perhaps is what it's like to be a father of a disabled child. Christopher is a bright, handsome young man who we found out was on the spectrum at about the age of 4. Like many couples that dealt with disability, the impact of Christopher's disability on the marriage and ultimately leading to a divorce was significant. The statistic is about 80% of parents with disabled children end up getting divorced because of the impact that it has on the family, the strain it has on resources, the shock that it can have. And that is largely, I think, because society looks at disability as something that's wrong. It's that people always come up to me all the time and in a well-meaning way tell me I'm such a wonderful dad with my son, to which I respond, that's what I'm supposed to be. and but because of his autism, and again, I don't see his autism as a drawback, but a different sort of strength. Now, along with being disabled goes a lot of problems, and those problems can be being victimized in the schools, both physically and emotionally. The case I have against Fairfax County is public. It can be read, and it is. I am part of a team of attorneys who I don't want to take all the credit for it, who have launched an attempt to bring Fairfax County Public School System, which is the 10th largest school district, into the 21st century, to basically stop restraining. That means holding down, dragging down hallways, grabbing, throwing to the ground students, and then secluding them in isolated rooms where they are alone for disability-related behaviors. So this is a hard road for children in the school systems and in the public school systems as well. And what we've found is there's the perfect storm between disability and its disproportionate impact in terms of restraint and exclusion on children of color. They have the double whammy of being both children of color in a school system that can be overly harsh and disabled. And oftentimes their parents lack the resources to sort of do what needs to be done legally because it's so expensive. But turning to Christopher, what I learned from my son was a different way to look at the world. And that way of looking at the world looks at the literal meanings of things rather than the more expansive. So if I said bridge over troubled waters, my son would say, well, there are no waters here. And so that mindset has taught me a lot about how to become a better person, how to be tolerant in the face of people who want to spend their whole day talking to me about the distinction between American Standard and other Kohler toilets. And so I have engaged in hours and hours of discussions over that, which sometimes can be difficult. And so, but I've noticed the biggest thing for my son and the biggest moments of his successes are when he performs a task and does it well. Which is why I clued into this evening. Now, it's been chaotic. We didn't have next time we should probably have somebody under the age of 30 who understands modern technology, but I appreciate everybody sticking with it. And the cooking was fantastic. But my son's situation is such that he faced a world coming out of school where, in essence, the county sort of warehoused him. And he faced a situation coming out of school where the prospects for employment are incredibly limited. And for high-functioning children, and even for just almost any adult I think basically all people want to work. They all look to do productive work as a symbol of their self-esteem, their agency, and who they are. And I've noticed that in my own life, that my work has given me pride and a sense of purpose. That's no less for those of differing abilities. And I think that the problem we face is we confine these adults to positions that we think suit their disabilities. And so we lower the expectations for them and only confirm to them that they are different and not to be accorded the same sort of dignity and respect as the rest of us. I think work bridges that gap. When my son goes up and works on a farm and works hard, it does two things. It tires him out, and it gives him a sense of perspective of what he seeks most of all, to be treated like any other person and to do the work like any other person in the society. And I think that the thing about disabilities is that, again, as I said in the intro, with my son, I've watched him when those opportunities exist, that he has always been a hard worker. Now, it is not easy sometimes for employers to deal with, particularly those on the autism spectrum. Some of their behaviors are odd, or some of their comments are misplaced. But if employers will work with them, they become very valuable, very motivated employees, and they have very good ideas on how to do things. And so I've noticed with my own son how he changes when he has productive employment, because it takes away from him that sense of separateness and oddness that only reinforces to him every single day that he is different, that he understands the world different from the mass of society. And it's that unique difference that is both his strength and his pain, because when that difference is not recognized, when he's shunted aside or told that he needs to stay home, or he's surrounded by aides all day that do this and do that, he loses a sense of who he is. And so I'm deeply committed to working for work opportunities for the disabled, particularly as they approach it, as they leave the school system, become adults, and now find themselves in particular their 20s and their 30s without any realistic prospects for either employment or for business opportunities for themselves. So anything that bridges that gap, which is literally in the accessibility bridge name, is something that I fully committed to and is very useful to me. I watch my son beam when he does a task and finishes it. And it gives him something to talk about with me during the day, other than telling me about how he's different. So when he goes out and works with the horses, or he goes out and works with the goats, well, the first thing is that goats and horses don't get disturbed by what you talk about. If he wants to talk about them about Kohler toilets all day, they don't seem to mind. And so he gets a sense of when he can touch and hold the horses and do work with them, there's a sensitivity that he brings to that, where he connects with the animals and they connect with him. And he walks away from that experience feeling normal. And I think that's what we should really be focusing on. I, as a father, have noticed that many times, if I am overprotective of him, if I narrow the opportunities for him to, quote, protect him, I'm actually not. He needs to get out into the world and work hard. I'm a firm believer that there's great dignity in labor, and that that dignity gives each individual with a disability an opportunity to be a useful, productive member of the society. That gift is more than any other program I can think of. My own belief, this is just my own belief, is that we can spend thousands and thousands of dollars sending my son to psychiatrists, psychologists, therapists, social workers, aides, and others who can help him figure out what his, quote, problem is, or we can let him work, and then his problems seem to go away. So I encourage all of you that are listening in, and I know it's been difficult because basically, we've had some problems, but I encourage everybody listening in that the goal should be to find and promote work opportunities and entrepreneurial opportunities for people with disabilities. We call them disabilities. I do like the term that people are using, other abilities. I think that's right. And so I'm very proud to be here tonight. I've comically watched a struggle through, and it reminds me, it's kind of like the way my son is. Many things are difficult for him. He doesn't quite understand them, but as long as he keeps processing them and going through them and completing the task, the end result is always something that's useful for everyone involved. So I am really fortunate to be here tonight. I didn't come to talk about my professional career, nor my perceived accomplishments, some of which I share, and some of which I think maybe a little boastful. But in any case, my thought on this is that for each of you in here, to the extent that you can contribute to any element that gives a disabled person the ability to do productive work, or an entrepreneurial opportunity for them to, not only, catch fish, but actually use them as well. I mean, I think that what happens with that is that person changes. And I've watched this with my son. He switches from being a person constantly feeling like he doesn't understand the rule book to one that feels very much a part of things. And feeling a part of things, I think, takes away that separateness and does more for my son's self-esteem and sense of who he is than any therapy I could send him to. So again, with that, I'll conclude my remarks, and thank you all for letting me be here tonight. It's been an honor.
I wanted to thank you all for joining us this evening. We rely heavily on collaborations and partnerships that have the potential for cultivating and creating valuable life-altering opportunities for people with disabilities. But I did upload the one video to your event invite, so you can see the one about Gabby's grounds. But what the parts that you guys didn't see and that Kevin and I talk about greatly is giving people with disabilities agency over their lives. And that's something that we really don't get we see children with disabilities, but what the world doesn't see is that they have their own goals. They have their own ideas of what they want for themselves. They just need help in getting there and taking one step to the next. And so the first video that I was going to show you from Gabby's Grounds, which is the coffee that you all got in your box, her mom was explaining how hard it was for her to find employment. So they decided to open a coffee shop. And I've had several conversations or messages back and forth with Gabby's mom, and Gabby can run the business. I mean, her and her friends, they package, they deliver. She is legitimately running the business. And while I'm happy that she's an entrepreneur, it's just kind of it's sad that someone else didn't trust her enough to do that. And the same story pretty much goes for all the other things that were in the box. Spectrum Bakes, they're the company that made your granola bars, and an enterprise with 3 businesses. And they employ people with intellectual disabilities. And there's a laundering service, there's a bakery, and there's laundering service, bakery, and a design printing company or whatever. And so and I hope you guys, I haven't had a chance to try the granola bars yet, but I have heard that those are fantastic and they're 100% homemade. And so I didn't want it to make it seem like these people are exceptional, you know, the exception to the rule, because people with disabilities are more like us than they are unlike us. And so I wanted you guys to see the videos just to see how many people are doing this and shed some light on what they can do versus what you normally hear about what they cannot do. Ways that you can help us stay on course with our mission. 1, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter, and share our posts. Forward any opportunities or ideas for collaboration to info@accessibilitybridge.com. I'll put our web address there. For clients in need of our resources to us. We are located in Southern Maryland, but we're able to provide resources anywhere throughout the United States. And the reason why that we're structured the way that we are is because we want people with disabilities to be able to come back to us. So if they live in Maryland today and they move to Ohio or they move to California, they can still receive the same level of support from us as they did when they lived there. Because as I mentioned before, having to kind of start all over with their local vocational rehabilitation organization, sometimes those things just take months and years, and people just don't have that much time when they're just trying to live. So we're able to operate anywhere. So if you know of people that can take advantage of any of our programs or services, please send them our way. Consider purchasing gifts or items from the vendors that we featured, well, that I attempted to feature this evening, but their items are in your box. If you go to our website, on the event page, at the bottom of that page, their logos are scrolling at the bottom of the page. So you can just click on their logo and it'll take you to their website. And you'll notice that there's far more people on that website than were featured here tonight, because we have kind of a second part, which was a virtual auction, silent auction. And we had lots of items donated from other companies in the box. So, but I don't know what just happened. During this Christmas season, consider purchasing gifts from them, because this is how they make money. So continue to support them. We are a 501c3 organization, and your donations to us are tax deductible. Check with your employer to see if they have a matching gift program. And what a lot of people don't know is that all you do is fill out some paperwork or go online and fill out a couple of things. You submit to them a copy of the gift acknowledgement letter that we've given to you, and they basically double your donation. So it's kind of free money for us, and that helps us reach our goals. Volunteer with us. There are many ways that you can engage with our organizations and our clients through our mentoring program, there are lots of virtual opportunities. Those things are to our educational equity program. And some examples that I have here are like tablets, noise canceling earphones, sensory items. And we have a charity list on Amazon Smile with many items dedicated specifically to this program. And it's extremely important to us to raise funds to support college scholarships for people with intellectual disabilities who wish to attend post-secondary transition programs at 2 to 4 year universities. And Valerie, we'll send the auction out later. We decided to, there was a comment about missing the link to the auction. We decided to separate the two events so that we weren't here for 5 hours. But we will send that out to everyone. We get a new date for that. But so what a lot of people don't understand or don't know about the post-secondary transition program, colleges, a lot of not the full amount that costs to attend the programs, and it's about $45,000 a year for what I would consider full inclusion, which would be housing, meals, tuition, for all of those things. And so we would hate for people who want to do more for themselves to be unable to do that simply because of a financial barrier. So so please consider donating to that program or donating items, as I mentioned before. And then I mentioned just consider making a gift to us, either a one-time donation or a recurring donation that can be set up online. If you look in the bottom of your box, there's a pledge card with a self-addressed envelope in your box if you would like to send a donation through the mail. Again, thank you and enjoy the rest of your evening.